Welcome to the Mortgage Wise radio show and video podcast, where we educate and provide expert advice on personal finance, mortgages, and real estate investing.
Show me the money.
As a result of what we do, our team has helped hundreds of first-time buyers, experienced buyers, and real estate investors achieve their goals of home ownership.
I wonder if there's a connection there.
Here are your executive producers and mortgage advisors, Randy and Veronica Chambliss.
What up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. I am Randy Chambliss. We just excited, guys. Today is a great episode. I'm just fired up. So I have to my right, Miss what?
Veronica Chambliss. I am a branch manager with Geneva Financial. Also, I am the housing director of Louisiana Housing Authority. And Randy is
the executive director of Louisiana Housing Authority, also a corporate branch manager with Geneva Financial in 45 different states, 130 plus branches. And our job is to be able to open up new branches in different cities and different states and hire branch managers and hire loan officers to run those branches. So today, guys, we have a great episode. What our episode is about today, Ms. Veronica?
So today, first, I want to welcome you to episode number 25.
25, guys. We started this the first week of January 2021. We are already on our 25th episode.
Yes, yep. So today we're going to discuss our Heroes Housing Initiative. So it's 100% financing for teachers, healthcare workers, firefighters, law enforcement, military, and veterans. So we honor and celebrate them. So in this episode, we're going to share how heroes can access our special benefits. So a huge thank you to all of the heroes out there who have worked tirelessly to keep us and our community safe and educated throughout this past year.
Absolutely, man. You know, at the end of the day, we couldn't have gotten through this pandemic without our heroes. So we just appreciative of them. We celebrate, like Veronica said, and we just want to give them some of the benefits that's available to them, right? So a lot of times you just hear about veterans, which are absolutely needed. But what about our teachers, right? What about our law enforcement, our firefighters? Like, what about, those in healthcare that has been risking their life all year? So this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about these benefits. So listen, guys, we're going to dive right on into it. So one of the benefits, right, to our initiative is going to be basically sometimes savings is hard to come about sometimes, right? For example, during COVID-19, where people lost a lot of income, some people lost some of their income. And so it was just tough to continue to save after you spent some of your money on some of the emergency things that you had to buy, right? Food, clothing, pay bills, etc. And so one of the benefits about this 100% finance is that you don't have to worry about having all the money to purchase your home, right? It's tough to save sometimes. And so that 100% finance give you that opportunity to do so. The next benefit is having
a peace of mind. So sometimes, when you first buy a home, some people, they are even hesitant to move forward with buying a home because they feel like, okay, well, I have to come up with all this money down. And, what if I don't have enough money left over to pay the mortgage, to buy my furniture, to just have a peace of mind, right? So this also helps with that because, again, like Randy said, you don't have to come up with all of the down payment that's required because we got your back.
Absolutely. And another benefit is to be able to purchase the furniture that you need, right? Sometimes when you move into a new house, it's a new environment, it's a fresh start, right? You hit that reset button from where you come from. And most of the time, you don't want to bring that old furniture, the old, items, that you had in your apartment, right? And so you want to buy a new bedroom set, you want to buy new equipment, et cetera, TVs, et cetera. So now, instead of depleting all your savings to put down on a down payment, now you have some funds left over to be able to purchase those items.
Yeah. And also with this program, it gives you the opportunity to actually purchase up your home now instead of later, right?
Absolutely, because a lot of people were just waiting for that savings to be a certain point, right? Waiting for that. And sometimes waiting, life unfolds, and sometimes, things happen and your credit score might drop, right? So now you got the money, right? Finally saved up after waiting 2-3 years, and all of a sudden your credit score drops. So you can't go. But
we know from personal experience.
Absolutely, literally personal experience, right?
Yep.
So,
and another benefit, what I like about this is no closing delays. So no waiting on a third party to have the funds available. No, we don't have to reserve the funds for you. We have access to a fund that have unlimited, well, as we know of right now, they have unlimited cash, right?
Absolutely. Put it this way, in the past, right, history, right, through the past, it never ran out of funds before. So that's a huge point. And I want to reiterate that, right? There's no delays in closing, right? And that's extremely important because a lot of your down payment assistance, right, you have to, one, disclose it on the purchase offer. Number two, it could be 60 days before those funds be available, if they're even available at all, right? So by this fund that we're using, that we're tapping into, that we discovered, now you don't have to worry about the funds being there. It's already there. You do not have to disclose it on the purchase contract. Nobody needs to know that you're getting a down payment assistance, just your lender, which is us, and yourself, right? That's it. That's the only person or people that needs to know about that.
This is an in-house product.
Absolutely. So which means that we can close in a regular time period that's on that contract. That's no delays, right? What's our next one?
It is 0 payments for the type of down payment assistance we have. You don't have to make any payments on your the funds that we give to you, but it is also forgivable after 36 months of on-time consecutive payments of your first mortgage.
Absolutely. I want you guys to get that, right? We have a couple of options available depending on what you qualify for. That first option, that there's no payment. So for example, we have a $250,000 home that you're purchasing. Let's say it was an FHA loan, right? The down payment is going to be 3.5%, which is going to be about, let's
over
say,
$8,000.
right? Over let's say about $800, right? And so what we'll do, we'll be able to help you with that in the form of our down payment assistance. And for the next 30 years, right, you don't make no additional payment on that fund. And if, like Veronica, say it again, if you make how many consecutive?
36 on-time consecutive payments of the first mortgage, then that second half of the money that we gave you is forgivable.
Right,
so,
absolutely.
And some people may be asking, well, what happened if I miss a payment within them 36 months? Well, it just resets. It start all over. Then you just got to make 36 more months on-time payments, and then it's still forgivable.
Absolutely. And then we also have another option where we could do like a small payment plan for 10 years, right? It's a fixed rate, it's a fixed payment, and whatever that payment is, $60 a month, $70 a month, I don't know, whatever your loan amount is, right? That's another option. So this depends on your situation. Everybody is unique, so we customize both our primary loans, and we also customize our down payment assistance for that particular borrower, right? That's why we do free consultations, because we want to know upfront, how can we serve you best? So you may hear Veronica or myself ask you some questions, right? And we want to dig into how can we serve you best? Like, we the lender, yes, but we also your friend, right? We want to make sure that we do everything we can to help you to close. And if you can't close, that's okay. We're going to let you know why you can't close, give you a clear, concise game plan that all you have to do is just follow the plan, and you will be able to close in the near future, right? So let's talk about the options that's available. So the first one, go ahead.
No, you can go.
Right, so the first one is we have 3.5% down. We talked about that, but we can go up to 5%, right? Five. And that's important because what if, you have that FHA loan of 3.5%? Well, you have some money left over, right? That can go towards your closing costs. That can go towards some of your prepaids, right? Prepaids are items that you're forced to prepaid in advance. Like the city want their property taxes paid in advance, right? So if that property tax for that year, for that particular home you buying is $2,000 for that year, they want that $2,000 up front at their closing. Your insurance premium, homeowners insurance premium, let's say it's $2,300. Well, the insurance company want that $2,300 up front, right? So now you have the 3.5% down payment, a little cushion left over to cover some of those closing costs and prepaid.
And that's huge too, because it also gives you flexibility when negotiating a purchase contract with a seller. Because we're in a unique market. We have, this is a seller's market, and it is also a buyer's market because we have an influx of buyers due to the interest rate, right? So what I mean by that, give you a little cushion to negotiate. Well, sometimes you have some people that, want to ask for closing costs. Well, today the sellers know, hey, I'm in control. I'm not paying no closing costs. Well, if you are in a situation where you needed to ask, at least you're not asking for the whole 6%.
Right.
$14,000 towards your closing costs. And you're just asking maybe 3,000 or 5,000 or whatever that number is that suits you. At least this give you the cushion to ask for a little versus a lot.
Absolutely, and that's huge. I want to kind of stay on that just a little bit more, because the reason why we in the seller's market, because we have low inventory of homes, right? One, you don't have a lot of builders building affordable housing, number one. Because the cost of lumber went up so dramatically, the cost of appliances went up, right? So it's not cost effective for builders to build affordable houses. So builders are almost forced to build high-end homes. Your $400,000 homes, your $350,000 homes, et cetera, because they can at least make a little profit off that, right? So you have the tariff that came from China, you have COVID-19 with factories that shut down over the last year. So you have all these things that contribute to that. Like, in fact, I was talking to one of my good colleagues in another state, right? And he was telling me that builders are having a tough time getting air-conditioned units in the house. They're ordering the units and it's taking months before the unit even come in. Appliances are taking a month, weeks for appliances to come in, right? So all those contributing factors, it puts us in a place where we're at now. We have low inventory, that barely have any houses on the market. And if the house is priced right, and if the house is a good product, as soon as that house hit the market, boom, you have 4, 5, 6 people that's seeing the house that day, 6, 7 people that next day. In fact, the following day after that, which is the third day, they probably have about 8, 9 offers on the table. Yeah. I was talking to a realtor partner of ours about 2 weeks ago, and she mentioned on the West Bank, she was on the West Bank, she had a property listed, she put it on the market, and she said she had 30 offers on a property on the West Bank, and a price point between $175,000 and $190,000. So go figure that, right? Why is that important? Why are we even talking about that? Well, that's important because, like Veronica mentioned, when you go to make your offer and the offer has 6, 7 other offers, and you're asking for closing costs, they're asking for $190,000, right? That's the sales price, $190,000. You offering $180,000, and plus you want $6,000 in closing costs. You probably not gonna get that deal, right? You have people barely getting a deal when they just offer them full price at $190,000. You barely getting the deal then, right? So you want to be as strategic as possible, plan accordingly. And with this down payment assistance program that we have for our heroes, those teachers, those law enforcement, the veterans, right, military, whether you are active or retired, right, in a reserve, right, our healthcare providers, right, firefighters, those individuals work hard every single day. We want to give them that competitive advantage by being able to either give a full offer, maybe give a little over that full offer. If they need some assistance, that we have their back with that. And another thing that we could talk about too is about that this down payment assistance can be combined with seller concession or with seller credit, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's huge because some of your down payment assistance program cannot be combined with that. That's right. So the seller can give you some cash.
Yeah, and we have a bonus. So between me and Randy, we're like, you know what? Let's throw in a little extra bonus for those people. So when you close, Randy and I literally give you a $500 credit to reduce your closing costs. $500.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's at the table for our heroes, right? That's coming out of our personal income. And we just want to say thank you, right? That's why we put this thing together. So again, that could be combined with seller credit. And also it could be combined with a couple of loan products. One, we talked about FHA, right? But also it could be combined with a conventional loan, right? So if you're able to qualify for a conventional loan, whether it's 3% down conventional loan or 5% down conventional loan, we could combine that as well. So that's a big benefit. Let's talk about.
And also with this, you can purchase anywhere. So it's no particular parish, zoning area you have to be in. You can, if you want to go and live in Gonzales, we can help you there too. So you don't have to be just in a certain parish to qualify for it. We can also go up to 2 units, but you have to live in one of them. It has to be your primary residence. So with some products, we can help you with your down payment up to 2 units.
Yeah, that's huge too. And kind of go back to, you could purchase anywhere. Some of your loan products like your RD loan, your USDA, which we provide as well, but it's only in certain areas, right? That property, address of that property has to be eligible for that product. So Slidell, right? Most of Slidell is RD, USDA loan, which is what? 100% financing as well. Portions of the West Bank of New Orleans, everything but Algiers, right? Go figure that one, right? Everything but Algiers is rural development USD, so you can get 100% financing. But what if you want to buy in Gentilly, New Orleans? What if you want to buy in Metairie, right? What if you want to buy in upstate Louisiana, right? Baton Rouge, etc. Well, you cap, because with that type of product, it's not eligible. But with this down payment assistance, you could be anywhere in Louisiana, you are good to go.
And we do have a question. The question is this program for first-time buyers only? No, it is not for first-time home buyers only. No, the answer is no. It has to be your primary residence. You cannot own a home already when you close, but you don't have to be considered a first-time home buyer.
Right, exactly. Good point. And great question.
Good question. Thank you for that question too.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about that 2-unit property, right? So a lot of people know that, hey, I can live on one side, right? Rent the other side out, and that income from the other side could pay my full mortgage, but I never have to pay a mortgage payment again, right? That's the idea when most people purchase a duplex. Well, what that duplex, 100% financing is still available, but you can't do a 3-plex. You can't go to a 4-plex, right? You could do it with just a traditional primary loan, but you just can't do it with a down payment assistance.
Now, I do want to mention this. The minimum credit score is a 620.
Yes.
That's the minimum credit score in order to qualify.
Right. So, and that's the middle credit score as well, right? So you have 3 credit scores that the mortgage lender pull, right? And we're looking for that third one, right? I will recommend just looking at your FICO score, right? Go to myFICO, FICO.com, myFICO.com. It does cost, right? It does cost, I think $30, something like that. But you get all 3 credit scores, you get all 3 credit reports, and you also get access to your mortgage scores, right? Yeah. So a lot of people don't know you have insurance scores, mortgage scores,
credit card scores, auto loan scores, and you have different scores. So, and a lot of people don't know this, with the credit scoring system, they're always changing it. Like right now, we're working on FICO 8. So if you can go Google that, then you can find out information about how this credit system works. FICO 8, FICO, the number 8. So Google that. So that currently that's what we're working on now as far as the scoring system.
Absolutely. And we had another question. That question was in regards to being retired. Can you be retired and be eligible for the Heroes 100% financing? And yes, you can. You could be retired or you could be active, right? That benefit goes to both individuals. Great question. Great question.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in regards to the FICO score we was mentioning, right? So when we pull credit, it's funny because I used to hit this back in, I'm not gonna tell my age, but a while.
Yeah, tell us.
Right. So when we pull 3 credit scores, we pull in 1 from FICO, we pull in 1 for Beacon, like who does a Beacon score, right? Well, we do, right? It's a FICO score, 1 FICO, 1 Beacon, and there's a 3rd score, right? So they kind of mismatch it. But that middle credit score, that's the one we're gonna use. So if you have one that's a 700, one that's a 690, and then one that's a 682, we're gonna go with that 690, right? So again, just check your credit score. We're gonna go down to a 620 with the DPA. Now, if you don't need a down payment assistant, DPA, right? We can go down to a 600 credit score, right? So just keep that in mind as well. But for this particular topic, 620 is that minimum, and that's not that bad.
And just a disclaimer, so on a 600 credit score, they're always looking for other compensating factors. And what I mean by that is the length you've been on your job, or the length you've been self-employed, or how much money you have saved up. Like how many months of reserves you have available just in case something happened, you can still make your mortgage payment, right? So that's what they mean by compensating factors.
Right, absolutely. And even your retirement plan, a lot of people don't really realize that your 401k on your job or past jobs, your IRA, any retirement plan that you have, you can use a portion of your retirement plan to, one, qualify for the loan, and two, use that for your down payment as well. And it's not a tax penalty. So we use a certain percentage. What that percentage is?
60%. So 60% of your available balance we can use as reserves or towards your closing of your home.
Absolutely. So if you have $100,000 in your IRA account, 401k, 60% of that is $60,000. We can use that to help you to qualify. Having said that, guys, that's the product that we wanted to bring to this market. We have a lot of people to help. We know home ownership sometimes can be tough because you have to have a couple of things in order. One, you have to have the credit score of 620, as we mentioned. Second, we have to have some type of savings put up, right? Thirdly, that debt to income ratio have to be in a certain percentage, right? And so it's like a juggle. You got three balls, or have three balls you're juggling: debt to income ratio, credit score, and then what's the other one? Debt to income ratio, credit score, and cash, right? So at some point, like me and Veronica, when we was
and collateral.
As me and Veronica was coming through, we were trying to do an investment property, right, together as a husband and wife. And we had high credit scores, right? We had a good debt to income ratio, and then the cash was low. Like, dang, I don't have the money to do it. Right, drop the ball. Next thing we worked on, we got the cash up, right? Credit scores up. Now the debt to income ratio is low, right? Or too high. All right. So that didn't work. Then the next thing you know, debt to income ratio is good. Credit scores are good, no cash, and vice versa. It was always something for a minute. It was like, can we just invest in a property already? Like, this is crazy, right? And then finally we got everything, all the ducks was aligned and in a row, had everything, and we couldn't find a property. Go figure that. We were looking for weeks and weeks and months, couldn't find a property for the life of us. Like, where's the deals, right?
Yeah. Then we started feeling like, look, if this don't work, then we give up.
Right, we're going back and get a job.
Yeah, we're not those kind of people. We still kept going though. So I would encourage anybody that's just, if you feel like I don't have no more in me, I don't want to keep going. I'm telling you, that means it's coming. It's coming up.
Exactly, because life tests you, man. Life tests you to see, do you really want it, right? And so, some people say, oh yeah, I want this, I want that, and they verbally speaking, right? But your action shows up in your behavior. Like, do you really want it? Life is going to test you. You're going to get to the point. Steve Harvey said this. Steve Harvey called it your turn back moment. I remember him saying that. He said, everybody in the pursuit of their goals, their wishes, their burning desire, they have this turn back moment, meaning that the pressure is so high. Like you got a diamond, like you're trying to get to that diamond, break that coal, right? The pressure is so high, so many things are coming against you, and at that moment of turn back, he said that's when you press forward, because right on the other side, that diamond's going to be revealed. And so life is just testing you and see how bad do you really want it, right?
And we have a couple of questions. So one of them is, are truck drivers considered heroes to qualify for the program? Now, that's something that we can talk about. So again, we do free consultations, right. But we have some other things that we can discuss around it.
Right. We do have some other products that can help. So good question.
So another question is how to deal with the fear of owning your home. Good question.
I love that question, man. And fear, first of all, let's look at
that word.
The word fear, F-E-A-R, right? That stands for fear, false evidence appearing real, right? False evidence appearing real. And so we have to look at faith, F-A-I-T-H. Fear ain't in this house, right? And so the way you get out of fear is education. The more education that you have about home ownership, about financing, right, the more comfortable you are. Because one of the things about home ownership is that, hey, if something breaks, I'm responsible for it. I may not be in a position to do it. Well, there are some things called home warranties, right, that can warranty that refrigerator, that stove, that air conditioning system. So if something happens, that insurance policy can help cover some of that cost, right?
And on top of that, you have to look at your team. Whoever was your team to help guide you through that process to purchase your home, we don't go away. You still have access to your team. You should have access to your team. You should still have access to your real estate agent. So whoever your real estate agent is at that closing table, that should not be the end of that relationship. You should be able to turn back to your real estate agent and say, hey, listen, this is the situation I'm in. What should I do? So it's all about choosing the right team.
Right. And even your lender, like we here, I was joking with one of our potential borrowers early today, and I was just telling our background real quick. Like my wife, she's a lender, she's a co-branch manager with me, so we married, and we talk about real estate all the time. so my point is, we your coach, right? We're not just your lender, we're not just a mortgage advisor. Like we literally your coach, right? We're gonna give you a game plan and say, listen, if you follow A, B, and C, then we promise you that you could get to the closing table, right? Now, when I say promise, that means everything goes well with the guidelines and you're actually following the plan. And so, just a quick background, about ourselves, not only that we mortgage lenders, but we active real estate investors, right? We started buying properties very aggressively in 2016, buying and rehabbing and reselling them. We started building new construction in 2017, beautiful custom homes from the ground up, custom cabinets, custom floor, 12-foot ceilings, etc. I bought my first home at 26 years old in 2006, right? So my point is, we know the market, we know the lending piece, and so we can help guide you through that process. We have the realtor partners that we connect with all the time. We have insurance agent or producers partner that we connect with all the time. We have title settlement companies that we connect with. So attorneys, yes. Right? So my point is, the fear literally dissipates when you have the education and when you have coaches and mentors. So I hope that helped. That was a great question.
Yeah, good question. Thank y'all for the questions too.
Yeah, absolutely. So another thing I just want to share too before we wrap up is that just because you have 100% financing, don't think that there's not other costs involved, right? So let's talk about those costs real quick. Well, one, you want to have some money saved, right? Because when you do find a home that you love and your family love, and you make that purchase offer, you send that offer over, then for consideration, there's going to be a deposit that's going to be required. Typically, I just call it $1,000, right? So that's a $1,000 deposit that's going to come out of your pocket up front. Second cost, you have two inspections. The first inspection is your home inspection, meaning that you're going to get a licensed home inspector to come out, and they're going to look at the roof of the house, they're going to carve all through the interior, and they're going to even go under the house, right? And they're going to be looking for opportunities that needs some attention, right? And they're going to be looking at the plumbing, electrical, and they're going to give you this full report. So that report in their time for that service might be $600, $700, something of that nature. So that's a out-of-pocket cost to a third party, right? Because they've done their job, they give you the report. Then you might have your termite inspection, right? You're not highly encourage you to do that, right? You want to make sure that the house is not termite infected. You might have a plumber to come out and look at the plumbing pipes, to put a camera down the plumbing, sewer line, to check to see if there's any breaks, etc. Then you have your appraisal, right? The appraiser will go out and look at the home, measure the home, and compare your home to other houses that's sold in the area in recent time, right? That's another out-of-pocket cost. So you have some of these costs, including what? Insurances, right? You have your homeowner's insurance, right? We talked about that a little earlier. I said your premium is $2,300 for a year for your homeowner's insurance. Well, that's a payment that you pay up front. You have your property taxes, right? That the city want their taxes paid up front. And if you're in a flood zone, then the lender will require you to have a flood policy, and that's another out-of-pocket. So I don't want to. We want to be transparent with you. We don't want to paint the picture that you don't need zero money to come to the table. No, we covering that down payment of 3.5%. If it's an FHA loan, if it's a conventional loan, it might be 3% or 5%. We're covering that for you. And then, as Veronica mentioned earlier, that 5% down payment assistance program can be rolled to cover those closing costs. So, just think about that for a moment.
I always tell people, hey, when you first start off, it is some out-of-pocket costs. So you want to have at least a minimum of $2,000, anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500 to be ready to spend up front because of those different costs that you have to pay. Yep.
Gotcha. So we got another question.
Yep. So we had another question. This is a very good question. If you've been working with another company and a pre-approval letter has been generated, do you have to keep working with that company if nothing has been signed and closing hasn't even started?
Great question. And the answer is yes, you can work with another mortgage company.
Yeah. So the answer to that direct question is no, you don't have to keep working with that company.
Good point.
So you can switch and see what your other options are. Yeah.
Exactly. And so oftentimes people think that if you pull your credit too many times, that it will literally drop your credit score a whole lot. And that is true when you're being not responsible with your credit. So let's say that today you pull your credit to get a credit card, right? Next week you go to Lowe's, try to get some appliances, you pull your credit. Now you're at the auto dealership pulling your credit for auto loan. Yes, those type of inquiries is going to potentially drop your credit score because you're looking like a risk to the mortgage, the three credit bureaus.
Meaning you're looking like you're in need of cash.
Correct, right. Exactly. You're in need of cash, so you have these credit lines. But when you're actually shopping for a mortgage, right, and you say, okay, well, in this period of time, 1 week, 2 weeks, I maybe went to 2 or 3 lenders to see what product's gonna fit me the best, right? Because everybody have different products, right?
But every lender is different.
That's right. Yeah. Personality wise, they're different. Like Veronica and I, we hear it all the time. Well, you know what? Why lenders don't answer their phone call? They don't return emails. Well, I'm like, I don't know. That's why you need to be working with us because we're gonna return your phone call.
We want to toot our horn a little bit on that part. So that's always said to both of us.
Absolutely. And so, but getting back to the question at hand, you can make that change. It's not going to drop that credit score as you might be thinking it's going to drop. For us, we have to be the primary lender so you can get access to the down payment assistance program. But that's the answer to that question.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, listen, is there any other questions? We're going to hang in for another 60 seconds and so. If there's not any other questions, we're going to move on. So we are going to hang around for about 60 seconds, guys.
Yeah. And one thing I want to say when you talked about the credit, pulling your credit. So it used to be you have 30 days to shop for your mortgage and it is considered one hit. Well, today is because you have 14 days and it's considered one hit.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, it's a big difference. But like Randy said, as long as you're not pulling here, pulling there, pulling there, then it won't affect your credit score. So you don't want to do that as well.
Right, absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Lauria.
Yep, really appreciate it. So got another 30 seconds and then we will be moving on.
So I hope this information was beneficial to you all. Make sure you pass this information on to other people that you know. What is that again? It's 14 days when you're shopping, when you letting this lender hit it, this lender, that lender. But if you want to go, if you're currently with someone now, then I mean, just give us a call. We're going to give you our information too at the end.
Absolutely. So guys, let's see, we got another question.
Yeah. If you don't find a home in 3 months of being pre-qualified, I'm assuming you, Ms. Shelley, you want to know if you don't find, what happens if you don't find a home in 3 months
Yeah.
of being pre-qualified?
Yeah.
Then what usually happens is, all right, so when a lender pull your credit report is good for 90 days. And in some cases, if you're doing a conventional loan, it's 120 days. So let's say if you're doing an FHA loan, then the 90 days is the 3 months. So what happens is the lender has to re-pull your credit. Now, for me, I don't like to just re-pull somebody's credit. So what I do is we have a conversation around what you're currently doing, where you're currently looking. And as long as I already know what you did so far, and we give you some guidelines. So we tell you don't open up any new accounts. Don't let nobody pull your credit report, none of that. So it helps with me not having to re-pull your credit. And I always suggest that, hey, since I already looked at it that one time, nothing changed, find a home, and then we'll re-pull your credit then to get the process started. Especially today, because it's taken a while to actually find something, because we're working with some buyers now. They haven't found nothing yet. Their credit report expired, but we haven't re-pulled it yet until, they actually get a contract.
Absolutely. And then what we recommend is that once you get that pre-approval, right? Imagine this for a moment. You with your family, you guys get dressed up, you go to a beautiful spot, and you take a family photo, right? And then 10 years from now, you pull up that family photo and say, wow, I remember when. Well, that photo is the exact same photo as it was the day you took it. So think of your financial situation, your financial life as a financial photo. So we're taking a snapshot of your financial, your debt to income ratio, your credit scores, your income, and you just want to keep your finances the exact same all the way till you get those keys in your hands, right? So that way there's no worries, there's no pressure. Now, in the midst of that, what we recommend that you do is update your pay stubs. Every time you get a new pay stub, update your lender, send it in to them, right? If you get a new bank statement, update the bank statement, send it in. So that way your file is always accurate with new information. So the day that you want to put in an offer, boom, you have no delays in getting that pre-approval letter from your lender.
That's right.
So great question, great question. All right, guys, I think that's all the questions. So this episode we talked about is our 100% financing for heroes. And who are our heroes? One, we have our teachers. We say thank you when we celebrate you. We have our law enforcement, our firefighters, our veterans, whether they're active or in the reserve, right?
And our doctors and our nurses.
That's right, our doctors, our nurses, dental assistants, anybody in the healthcare industry, you are considered our heroes. So we thank you, we honor you, we appreciate you. My direct number, guys, if you want to contact me, you could text me, call me, 504-270-2783. You can find me on social media, on Instagram and Facebook at Mr. Randy Chambers. And also you could look online at randyknowsmortgages.com.
Yep, and my direct contact number is 504-715-4388. And you can find me on social media under Veronica Chambliss. And also I'm online at veeknowsmortgages.com. And that's veeknowsmortgages.com.
All right, guys. So listen, good night and enjoy the rest of your night on purpose. God bless.
Thank you.
That brings today's show to a close.
Oh, come on!
Thank you for listening to the Mortgage Wise radio show and video podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to share it with a friend and subscribe. Please follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at the Mortgage Wise Radio Show. If you want to learn more about what we talked about today, give us a call at 504-270-2783. Or to view our podcast library, please visit our website, themortgagewiseradioshow.com.
Autobots, roll out!
Until next time, choose to have a great day on purchase, Mortgage Wise friends.
Go home.
Go home. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Good night.